Short and sweet today. No song today, and I don't think I'm going to go through a lot of topics. The most important thing to mention is this morning podcast is coming to an end. But I will say, I think this is the first time that I feel excited about something coming to end. Not in the sense that I'm excited for it to end, but in the sense that I don't feel disappointed with myself that I'm giving up on this thing and I feel like it's run its course and it served its purpose. I think it was a useful way to spend the time. I don't know how many people tuned in or got something out of it. I know some people did, but I don't know that it was a lot, but I got something out of it, and so overall, I feel like it was time well spent. I think I got better at doing this. It helped me get some clearer ideas. I've reorganized some different things. I think on some level because I did this. So maybe an argument for uh, forward motion when you take action and you try to do something. Even if you don't know what to do, it's better to just do something, and then you'll learn and you can make adjustments. But if you don't do anything, then you'll probably just stay right where you are and you don't learn anything. So let's see. So I've titled this podcast New Schedule, and the new schedule is that it's not going to have a schedule. And I think I am going to, with the podcast, I'm going to go back to uh, doing interviews. And so whenever I do have a podcast, I think I'm not 100% decided on this, but either I'm going to have a topic that I think is really appropriate for the podcast. Like in the back of my mind, I think one thing, it's called a Groovecast, and when I conceived of the word Groovecast, kind of an idea that was in my head is that it was like a forecast for like a social forecast, maybe a social slash music forecast. And so, maybe you're talking about different places where events are occurring throughout the scene, the local scene, and yeah, sort of a social forecast that's rooted or grounded in music. Maybe that's a Groovecast. So I think maybe it will be some kind, almost like a publication that comes out every once in a while when I have, some really clear ideas or information that, to some capacity. So that's something I'm gonna continue to think on. So I think it's gonna be maybe that'd be like once a month thing, or I'm not sure. That I'm gonna still work on developing. And then if there's somebody that I feel would be great to interview, I think that's appropriate to have as part of this podcast. And I think those people that could work for interviews could be within many different categories. It doesn't have to be a musician. I know there was somebody I was talking to that is a musician, but they were interested in potentially doing an interview for events that they run where they're not performing in them, and just to talk about sort of the history of these different events or things to come, ongoing annual events, kind of thing. But I think like anybody that works within the event industry, I think it'd be interesting to interview people that are well beyond the category of musician, and I think that would make sense to interview folks in many different categories on this Noah's Groovecast. So the podcast is the morning podcast is going to come to an end. So the no more 8 a.m. days. You guys don't have to get up early to come watch my podcast. So that's basically it. I'll be making the Groovecast is not going to be done. It's not going to be over. So more to come. It'll look different, but there's no specific schedule right now that I have in mind for it. I'll just release podcast episodes whenever I feel that there's something worth an episode. And with that said, I think I will do it. Let's see if I can do anything here, offer anything on the way out for this Monday morning music and thought podcast that I've done. Um, I'm trying to think. I had a whole bunch of different thoughts when I was on my run this morning. Um, mm, 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 mm. I guess I'll just I can say some of the stuff that I think maybe came out of this. I think I started a new YouTube channel called Noah Damas, and so if you're interested in the more kind of thoughts, philosophy, politics kind of stuff, that will be on that channel, Noah Damas, and I've done that in part to give me an outlet for these ideas that I want to express that aren't as music related, and to some extent may be at odds a little bit with what I'm doing with music. And so that I can have my primary channel or my music channel really just be for that. And so it's helped me to separate out things a little more, organize it a little bit better. And so the music channel, which is at Book Noah Grove on YouTube, that is, I'm going to be doing a lot more live streams, I believe, and I'm going to be putting a lot more effort into making different kinds of content, but I think a lot of it will be educational kind of content. In particular, I had this idea to do Songwriter 101 or Singer-Songwriter 101, and basically to create I am thinking to create a course, like a whole course for being a singer-songwriter. And so that's something I've already put some effort into working on, but I've got a clearer idea for how I can really pull that together. And but also to, I guess, have individual lessons on a whole different variety of topics, maybe like 10-minute lessons to get to more specific topics, and to get to more like really small issues or little things, but be able to dive into them a little bit. So you have, if you have a 10-minute window here and there, you can learn this. But ultimately, these will all be blocks that kind of build into an overall singer-songwriter course. So that's something I'm going to be working on. And then also putting out like product review videos for products that I think are worth looking at, or if I've got an insight into a product that I think is worth completely avoiding, that kind of stuff. And is there? Yeah, and then also just song releases. I'm going to be making an effort to release songs on a more consistent basis. And I was saying one every week or every 2 weeks, and now I'm at 2 weeks and I didn't put one out, but I've had a lot. I think that's okay for right now, but then I need to really lock in here in a like this week into figuring out what the schedule is going to be and then stick to it. And so I think 1 week is one song per week is just going to be too much. I know I can't do that, but I think it's going to be one every 2 weeks. It'll either be that or one every month, but I think I should push for one every 2 weeks. So I think that's what it's going to be. And then, the Noah Damas channel is just going to be all sorts of different topics. Everything not music related will go there. So anything that I feel like is pertinent to the current events, the current things going on in the world, or things that I think are important to express that I feel like aren't being expressed, or I don't see anyone talking about or putting quite forward the perspective that I have, then I'm going to put it there for better or for worse. So, that's basically it. Oh, I think, I guess I'll leave you with, for this short morning podcast that's going to be actually maybe one of my first videos that's only about 10 minutes long. Making progress here. I wanted to try to take all the videos down to not much more than 10 minutes. The podcast episodes could be like 30, maybe to an hour if it's an interview or something like that, but 30 if it's just a monologue. I had a new thought for the tortoise and the hare story, a topic that I talked about on this podcast as it's been in its Monday morning form, was the tortoise and the hare, and how the tortoise. The tortoise wins in the tortoise and the hare story, and the moral of the story is to be slow and steady like the tortoise. And it's a interesting story, but the truth is, as I said in the previous episode, that if the hare had discipline and just went for it and stayed consistent, the hare would blow the tortoise out of the water. The tortoise wouldn't stand a chance. The tortoise would finish days after the hare. And so really, there's nothing wrong with speed. It just needs to be coupled with consistency. I guess the point of the story is the hare gets tired and wants to take a rest. You do go too fast, too quickly, and then you want to rest. And then while you're resting, you take too long, and the people going just slow and steady catch up. I would say on this run this morning, or the last few runs that I've done, I try to run for 5 miles at least a few times a week. I'd like to do it almost every day if I can get myself to go do it. I never want to, but in every run previously, I would run the first mile without stopping. I just go just at a good pace, trying to push myself at the best pace that I could go for the first mile. And then once I get to that first mile, go a little bit further and then stop, and then walk and rest, and then keep the rest of the way. I don't really worry too much about the length of time. I just run until I feel like I need to rest, and then walk, and then run, and then walk. Now, the last couple of mornings, I actually ran. I didn't run the first mile all the way, and I started walking earlier. But what I actually found is when I did that, I ran the whole 5 miles in a shorter time than if I just pushed hard for that first mile. And so that's actually makes a statement to the original tortoise and the hare story. And so I don't know, maybe there's some sense to that. So anyway, that's what I'll leave with. And it's been real for this Monday morning podcast. For my viewer that just joined, this podcast, the Monday morning podcast, is going to come to end, but I'm going to still do the podcast going forward. It's just not going to have a consistent schedule, and it's going to go back to being interviews. If I have somebody that I feel like it'd be really worth doing, asking a bunch of questions and actually doing a longer form interview, then that's what this podcast is going to go back to being. And then the kind of content that I've been putting on this podcast is just going to go to my new YouTube channel at Noah Damas, and then all the music-related stuff is going to be into shorter videos that are on my YouTube channel at Book Noah Grove. What's up, DW? Welcome. Good morning. Yeah, man, just letting everybody know this Monday morning podcast thing. I've really enjoyed doing it, but I feel like that this is just the right thing. The chapter is, it's helped me organize my thoughts a lot, and I just think that overall, this isn't the podcast. This podcast, the kind of content that I'm putting through this podcast, is a better fit for a few other things, and the way I should organize it is a little different. And so Noah's Groovecast is going to go on, but I'm going to bring more specific kind of ideas for that content. So it's either going to be interviews, or it's going to be like social forecasts. That was the original idea that I had, was a social kind of, and it's still hard for me to wrap my mind around what that even means, but a Groovecast, Noah's Groovecast, the name of the podcast. What would a Groovecast be? And maybe it's a musical way, instead of a weather forecast, it's a social forecast. It's like, what's the social climate out there right now? And probably I can only kind of give that window into Charleston. I could give the social forecast, the music forecast, the musically informed social forecast for the broader national scene, but then I would just be talking crap all the time. So just be like, there's more garbage. Or it's like, this song came out and That's depressing. so, so at least if I stick to a local scene, you have, uh, I don't know, or you could, I have to be more. I don't know. There's so much music that's released on a national scale that it kind of blows your mind. Like, how is that? What is going on in the world? Like, it's just, I kind of try to just like ignore it. I guess I just think that doesn't make any sense. Does that really make the statement about the world that I think it does? All right, I'm just not going to think about that because if I think about, yeah, I'm gonna hold out and not reach a conclusion. We'll just wait. 'Cause some of this stuff that gets put out there and has millions upon millions of views, I'm just I just think who are these people that are? It's I would never want to watch that song, or I would never want to listen to it or watch the video of that song. And then, but I did maybe. So I need to stop clicking that link, man. But anyway, all right. So that's it. Kept it to 16 minutes, but which is better. It was the goal was always to keep it under 30 minutes, and then I always ended up going for like an hour. All right, so yeah, I won't new releases. There's no schedule for this anymore, and new episodes they'll be on my website, or you can find the episodes on. Well, they'll be on YouTube because I live stream these podcasts. But then they subsequently post to all the podcasting platforms, so you can find them on Apple podcasts, and you can find them on, I think, Spotify and all that kind of stuff. I think probably Amazon or whatever. And but they'll also be on my website, noahgrove.com, if you want to listen to the podcast. That way they're posted under Noah's Groovecast, noahgrove.com/Noah's Groovecast. And so future episodes, if I've got an interview lined up, I'll promote it and I'll let people. I'll post like on my YouTube, a forecast of the upcoming live stream that's going to occur with and who it is and some information about them and all that. So yeah, the interviews will be with musicians probably primarily, but I also hope to interview just lots of different kinds of people that are involved in event business in general. That like venue owners or booking agents or mixing engineers. I don't know, people that kind of have their hands in different areas, and people that run events, or even just like music fans. Maybe you could even just have like super music fans. They're just always out there go into everything. That'd be interesting to talk to somebody like that. So. And then the social forecasting stuff, which that'll be more like once I have a really good idea of many things to talk about, and I still gotta. At some point, that idea will either come to where I understand it, or it just never will, and the podcast will only be interviews. But all right, everybody. Thank you to everybody that ever tuned into this podcast. Thank you to everybody that tuned in while I was doing this Monday morning kind of thing. I appreciate it, and I look forward to doing more podcasts that are a little more specific going forward. And if that's your thing, then I look forward to seeing you there. I hope to see you there. And if it's not, then and hopefully the things that you enjoyed about this podcast, the way I was doing it, you can either find it at Noah Damas for the political, philosophical, spiritual kind of thought kind of stuff over at Noah Damas on YouTube. And otherwise, if music-related stuff is going to be at Book Noah Grove. I'm doing product reviews. I'm getting internet, Calyx Institute internet, cellular internet for my live streams. So the Space Arc is firing on all cylinders. I've been taking it out to the market, so I'm doing the one-man band thing. And so going forward, it's my goal to do the Space Arc, the one-man band, as much as I can. And I've got the cellular router hooked up. And so with the Calyx Institute, I should have, for $500, 5G unlimited data internet, so that the live streams should be really consistent when I go out to the market or when I'm playing anywhere. So that's yet to be seen. I'll have to test it out once I get that internet. But it's 5G and unlimited, so it should be really good. So that's part of what I'll be doing going forward. Product review videos, singer songwriter 101, educational kind of content, song releases, and then the live streams. And so I'm hoping to gig around 3 to 4 times a week, and then all of those should be live stream. If any of those that are one-man band gigs, some of them are going to be solo acoustic stuff, and those I won't live stream. Some of them are like private events. Like on this Thursday, I'm playing for a birthday party that's like I think it's just for a couple, and they're having like a private chef, and then I'll be playing like John Mayer songs. So I'm looking forward to that. Actually, it should be really cool. That'll be solo acoustic. I won't be live streaming that. Then I'm playing the City Market Friday and Saturday, and if I doubt I can get the live stream ready by then because they probably have to ship me a SIM card. But maybe by the following weekend. And then all my gigs from there, one-man band, will be live streamed. It should be interactive. I'll be able to communicate with you in the live stream. You'll be able to see everything there at the gig. So you'll be able to see the people dancing or not or whatever's going on. And then they can press buttons. And my goal is to try to bridge the two worlds, bridge the internet world and bridge the live world, that there can be some kind of interaction between those two audiences, that they're not completely separate. So I'm still trying to understand, but I've got buttons on the thing where people can come up and press those buttons, and it triggers sounds that will play for them, but also for the internet. And it has a little scoreboard, with tips or with subscribers or with song requests, so they can press different buttons to do those things. And it'd be cool too if I could set up where folks on the internet could type things in the chat that cause triggers, but I probably have to leave that, that play out actually from my speakers. I think that's doable. I think I can do that, but I have to be really careful with that. I can control what sounds, get triggered, but obviously there are going to be people that come in, and once they figure it out, they'll abuse it and just start spamming things out of my speakers in the live environments. That's not going to work. So maybe only certain people can have those privileges. But things I'm going to be thinking about, any ideas would be awesome. But yeah, thanks, DW. Have a good day. Everybody out there, peace out. Have a good one. Until next time, see you guys.